So that's right, we have an official update straight from CD Projekt RED today about Cyberpunk 2077. We're going to be taking a look at what they are calling patch 1.5. It's the next big patch for Cyberpunk. When can we expect it to be out for this game? We'll dive into details about that one. Plus, we have some words from the CEO of CD Projekt RED about the future of Cyberpunk. It's really interesting stuff. So yes, let's dive into this right now. First of all, starting off the headline, which reads this: CD Projekt believes Cyberpunk will be considered a very good game in the long run. This just shows that they have a lot of hope for this game, and also this as a franchise beyond even video games. So let's get into exactly what was said here in the new interview. It says, speaking in a new interview with Polish economic newspaper, Adam Kaczynski argued that the brand awareness generated by the game means it will eventually be seen as a success, despite its rocky launch last December. And we're going to get into some more details in just a moment, how the community of Cyberpunk is growing right now and actually receiving the game very positively currently compared to launch, which is really exciting news. Now we have this, it says Cyberpunk 2077 is the biggest, most ambitious, and definitely the most complicated project in our 27-year history, Kaczynski said. In almost every aspect, we tried to take a step further, just as we've done with the Witcher games we've released. And of course, they ran into some major rough patches. It did not work out. They definitely did not go beyond what the Witcher provided, but I guess they hope to eventually get to that point with the updates that are forthcoming here for Cyberpunk. Now it says this: releasing a game in a new franchise brings many challenges and risks, especially when the concept is so complex. We brought it to life with a huge, vibrant, futuristic city called Night City, where the characters' non-linear stories take place. And again, there's so many different opinions about the actual story for Cyberpunk. From what I'm seeing from you guys in the comments though, it seems like you really enjoyed the overall story, despite the life paths not being fully fleshed out as promised. Now it says this: we're proud of many aspects of the game, but as we know, not everything went our way. Nevertheless, the brand awareness of Cyberpunk that we've managed to build is huge, and the game universe, its characters and details have fans all over the world. Furthermore, he goes on to say the following: we believe that in the long run, Cyberpunk will be perceived as a very good game, and like our other titles, it will sell for years, especially as the hardware gets more powerful over time and we improve the game. And you have to remember what happened with The Witcher 3 is that it came out and had a lot of problems, a lot of issues. They fine-tuned that one a lot faster than what we're seeing with Cyberpunk though, but maybe it's just going to take a little bit more time to get to that Witcher 3 quality of, of what we want from the game. Now it says this: we're working on updates all the time, and we're also working on a version for the latest generation of consoles. Of course, the original release taught us a lot. It gave us a kick and motivated us to make changes that will make us better in the future. Yeah, they're restructuring a lot of things with how they actually work at CD Projekt RED, how they hire in new people, how they train people. So they're doing stuff that's very, very interesting behind the scenes that we don't have a lot of insight into right now. But we'll see what happens. Let's hope that it brings to fruition with the actual game's updates, that they're really, really good what's happening with the back-end stuff. Now it says this: Kaczynski also reiterated that the game would be receiving no more updates in 2021, and that the next-gen version will be released in the first quarter of 2022, alongside a large version 1.5 patch. So they're aiming for the first quarter of 2022 to be a big moment, I guess you would say, for Cyberpunk. It is a bummer. I am going to say this though, it is a bummer that we aren't getting an update for Christmas. That would have been really cool, but I would rather them go all in on a really, really big, massive update for us. Something that gets everyone paying attention, not just within the Cyberpunk community, mind you. Maybe people will be distracted at that point by some other game. There's going to be Elden Ring out, what have you, but they need to bring in people that of course have abandoned the game, and they need something that really shines, and hopefully that's what they're developing right now. Now furthermore, it says this: the decision to postpone the next-gen version of Cyberpunk was a difficult one, but we are confident that it was the right one, especially since it was clearly recommended by our development team. So it looks like they're really honing in finally to what the development team has to say and really listening to the fact that, you know, hey, we need more time to work on this. And hopefully this also allows them to have less crunch, you know, in the work environment. Now it says this: we need the extra time to fine tune the visuals and performance of the game to be as high as quality as possible throughout the game. And I've been bouncing back and forth, by the way, between the PC version and the PS5 version. I have to say, I am so curious to see what they do with the visuals of this game to improve it even further, because right now what they have here, in my opinion, is really, really good. So that's something that gets me pretty hyped. Now, this is another headline here. It says Cyberpunk is being flooded with very positive reviews on Steam, and that was not the story about a year ago at all. And let's go to the Steam database for Cyberpunk. We have here a 75.19% rating, overall positive. So yeah, a lot of people experiencing the game. We have 345,000 roughly positive upvotes compared to the downvotes being 110,000 negative reviews. So it's skewing more positivity for this game right now. Plus, check this out. I did a video about a lot of the Steam database information yesterday. Check this update out right here. We have 15,901 players playing right now as of making this video, but we hit a peak of 17,000. So these numbers are going up. I'm curious to see what happens tomorrow, and especially in the weekend as people have more time to play the game, of course, because right now a lot of people are celebrating Thanksgiving and distracted by that. Now we also have this one right here, a monthly breakdown. I showed how this was in the negatives. We're flipping towards positive gains now. So the past couple months have been rough for Cyberpunk, but now we're switching over to positive energy there. More people are coming into the game than leaving the game. That's really good news for Cyberpunk. But is it something that can save the game? Not right now. We're gonna have to wait for 2022. Like I've said, 2022 is going to be the big year, the biggest year for Cyberpunk, even bigger than the launch of the game, in my opinion, to really see if it could revive itself. Of course, another thing you have to consider is the competition is going to be absolutely fierce in 2022 for gaming in general. We're going to see the Video Game Awards, maybe some big announcements from companies there. We'll see what happens. But let's get into, you guessed it, top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up right here in a future video. Let's do this. Let's see what you guys had to say. I love reading your comments. So my last video was this one. Cyberpunk just got very unexpected news. Far Cry 7 gets a big rumor and all new updates. Yeah, that Far Cry 7 rumor was interesting, by the way. Check out the video if you want to find out more about that. But anyway, let's get in to see what you guys have to say. Yeah, also check out my Starfield videos. I'm going to be covering Starfield big time in 2022. Can't wait for that one. We have James Sales who says this: I've recently jumped back on Cyberpunk after all the news patches. It definitely feels better now. It's nice that they are planning new content, and I think Rockstar has some good competition now. I agree. And he says we have GTA and Cyberpunk as the main contenders right now in open world gaming. I would throw Assassin's Creed in the mix as well, because they've been killing with Assassin's Creed. Then we have, I want both CD Projekt RED and Rockstar to do better though, and give back more to the players, because for many of us, open world games are more entertaining. I love open world games. I mean, my channel's name is Open World Games. We have Zane Harris who says, I love Cyberpunk even with all its flaws. The world is rich, and deep with personality, world building, and lore. I hope we get a sequel with everything that's missing from 2077 and much more, but it doesn't seem likely. Actually, I want to comment on this one. I think it's very likely we'd get a Cyberpunk sequel because of the initial numbers. I compare Cyberpunk to Star Wars Battlefront when it released, and Star Wars Battlefront 1, when it released by DICE, sold very, very well despite some of the issues it had, and they were like, let's give it another go. So with that being said, I really do believe that we would be getting a sequel with Cyberpunk, but as it stands right now, they want to currently update the existing game right now. But yeah, a sequel, I think it would definitely happen considering the numbers they actually managed to get for Cyberpunk and the company overall. Then we have the Wayfarer family who says this: I explored every piece of Night City and completed each life path and really just love the world, lore, and personality. Just those few big necessary tweaks that I hope come in the next year together and the expansions, next gen and DLC. I'll definitely be coming back for all of this, no doubt. Only good experience and feelings from me about Cyberpunk 2077 on PC. And then we have Dusty, who says, I really do feel for the devs for Cyberpunk. I think it's an amazing game. I recently went through a side quest that gives me real butterflies in the stomach because of the story setting and music in the moment, giving beautiful, sad, happy vibe all the same time. I very rarely get so affected like that from a video game, even movie, which shows just how well done the atmosphere and story is. In regards to Far Cry, no map editor in Far Cry 6, no longer interested in the game. Wow. Far Cry 7 live service implying no single player offline experience. Wow, this is Far Cry world. We really did end with Far Cry 5 and Far Cry, I'm trying to think, New Dawn? Was it New Dawn? But anyway, yeah. We'll see what happens. I hope there is an offline experience. Now, just because they say it's going to be like on a live platform or a living platform doesn't mean they're abandoning single player. That's the thing. It just means you're going to have like one big platform where you get access to many different Far Cry games. I guess you compare it kind of to what Battlefield has been trying to do in some ways. But to me, it sounds interesting because that way they can keep updating old Far Cry games with new stuff. And from one platform, you go, oh yeah, oh wow, there's something new in Far Cry 3, you know, or something like that. That's an example. I think that's what they're trying to do. We'll see how it works out though. But yeah, there it is. The latest happenings around Cyberpunk 2077. Can they turn it around? We shall wait and find out. I'm really rooting for the dev team at CD Projekt RED. I really am. I think they've made a wonderful base of a game. But we'll see what happens. But thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you all next time. Take care.